We're going to be on shortly, Lloyd.
Okay. Did your Getsons show up?
Nah, I never know when they're going to show up. You should come on.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
This is City Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and before we take our first caller, just a little bit of the ground rules. You can this is your show. You can talk about anything you want, any subject, just keep it in the bounds of good taste. And outside of that, we're open to anything. Lloyd, yeah, we have our first caller up. Go ahead.
Okay, Kaz. You know, we have to help them people on 7th Street.
You're talking about the...
Yeah, the roach is real bad.
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting question. That's it used to be that things like that came partly under the county. If you remember, they had like a rodent program.
Yes, 10 years ago.
Yeah, boy, don't seem like it's been gone that long.
It's been gone 10 years.
Yeah, they used to bait a lot. I don't know if they ever did. I don't know if that comes under the health department, but I think, you know, judging by what we see here, we're going to have to. You know, check into what the procedure is. I know that it takes a long time to tear houses down. Of course, that's not going to solve the problem because you're going to have to watch for the infestation of those roaches too.
Yeah, the roach is already going.
And if you tear down the house, they're going to go somewhere else. So, I think we're going to have to, as a council, maybe see what the procedure is and whether the county offers us anything in that area.
Yeah, but the people already have them in their houses.
Well, I know it's
all the way around that block now.
Yeah, I don't know of any program we have. I think what I'm going to do is at the next meeting, you know, see if we can get an answer from our like code enforcement department and stuff like that. See if there's any programs out there or anything, you know, that can be done. I know that probably the long-range solution is going to be that with so many properties, and as you drive around town, you see them too. You know, they're in bad shape. They need to be taken down.
But it seemed like this one had garbage in it.
Yeah. Inside?
Yes.
Yeah, I understand there's another one that involves some people that are living there too, right?
Oh, yes.
So you got two problems. You got an abandoned house, and you got a house that's got residents in there.
And it had one of them red signs on.
Yeah, something's got to be done because what we're seeing now is we're seeing it's like even where I live. The other day there was it's not bad, but I mean you're talking about two giant woodchucks and one of them's laying on its side, and I'm going, what is happening? You know, you got crows circling and turkey vultures and roaches. It's a problem we got to start taking care of. It's not the image you want to see.
No, you know, my sister saw it on the internet from Denver.
About the the internet's a small place today, Lloyd, and once it's out there, it's out there. You can get news. You can go right on the website of the TV stations now.
Oh, yes.
So, I mean, you can get news from anywhere in the country.
But we got to do something to help them poor people.
Yeah, I just don't know if we have any funds for it, but certainly we're going to have to be more proactive, I think, in having our people. I mean, it's not a subject we're proud of, but we're going to have to probably get out there a little quicker and you know, start holding people accountable.
Yes, right now, if they could get that emergency demolition on that house.
Something, but then you still got the problem with the people that are living in that other house.
Yeah, I guess he's going to the JP this week.
I know, but you know, we got to start hurrying up the process. If you got them in your house, and believe me, that's not a pleasant thing. When I was in the military, we had them in our barracks from time to time, and that's not something you like.
Yeah, and the mail lady, you know, she was saying she had to do that route one day, and last week, you know, she said, oh my God, they're really bad.
Well, yeah, they're very, they've been around for a long time, and, you know, they've always been there, but you need to be proactive on them before they, start to spread. And I know I've talked to our guys that have gone into houses. They pretty much have to shake their clothing down and everything when they're done.
But I do, don't you?
Pardon?
I went in one house that they had them. When I got home, I took my clothes off outside.
Yeah, you don't even want to step on them because that's not good idea.
No, man, where they crunch.
Yeah, well, then you bring that into your house. So
Yes.
yeah, it is a different problem. We're gonna probably have to address it.
Real fast.
But I think usually those type of things. I'm not blaming anybody. Usually the county has the health issues. So maybe we need to contact the health department, see if there's anything they can do.
Okay, the two people who own this house live out of town.
Yeah, the one house. But what about the other house?
The guy was sitting on the porch drinking coffee, saying, "What do you want me to do?"
Yeah. Well, what I want you to do, clean it up. How about that?
Yes.
When you start causing other people distress.
So we have to change something real fast.
Well, things have to change, laws and everything. I mean, right now it's virtually it's not easy to tear down a house.
Yeah, I know it ain't.
Unless it's like damage, fire, something like that. Whether infestation of insects is one of them, I don't know.
I don't know. I'll get off so somebody else can call. I have a meeting to go tonight at Democratic Party headquarters.
Is that tonight?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't check my mail. What time is it?
6.
For committee people?
Yeah, committee people tonight.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you up there then.
I'll see you there, and then you can answer my one question about that one.
Okay. Call back later if you get a chance, okay, Lloyd?
I hadn't heard John on in a while.
John's actually had trouble with his TV because of the new changes, but I think he called in last week, and he's going to probably call in this week, so listen up.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, he had a little problem with Time Warner, when they made the changes.
Oh, man. And in January they changed their name. Do you know that? Charter.
Well, not yet they haven't. They haven't okayed that yet. But that's coming. We'll go to Comcast, and then Comcast will probably spin us off, but nothing's for sure yet. We're still Time Warner. Hold on until they make the announcement officially.
Yeah, but I don't trust them anyway.
No, probably not. I mean, hey, would you ever thought you'd be paying this much for cable when you were younger?
No, my cable bill is $105 a month.
Yep. You can cut it down, but then you don't get much for it.
Yes. Okay, Kath. I'll see you tonight.
Okay.
Bye.
And with that, yeah, Lloyd was bringing up the incident with the house on 7th Street, and I honestly don't know if, I don't think we have any specific funds in the city to cover that, so it used to be the county took care of a lot of issues involving rodents and things like that, but that may no longer be the case, but something has to be done eventually because houses like that are not what we want to see in the city, and it's not good. And if you live next door to one of these houses, life would definitely be miserable for you. I know it's bad enough now that with all the building going on, we're getting all kinds of farm critters coming down. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, he was waiting for you.
Oh, who's that?
Lloyd, he just called before you.
I just got in the door and I flipped on and I've got a couple of...
Yeah, he was bringing up about that roach house on 7th Street.
Oh, yes.
And I told him, I said, I don't know if we have any funds, but...
I think the county should have some.
Well, they used to do the rodent program, so, maybe we're going to have to probably contact them. It's definitely a problem. You wouldn't want to live next to a house like that.
Guess not, but I've got a few problems I'd like to address today myself.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
First...
Here, I'm going to get you your own sheet of paper, okay?
Pardon?
I'm going to get you your own sheet of paper.
You're going to get an old sheet of paper.
A new one for you, a new one, because you'll...
The first thing on my mind is I see where the new convention center, 5 years old, they're going to do some refurbishing to the tune of $1.5 million. And And here when council asked for some access for the citizenry, they went nuts like they didn't have any money.
Right, they took it out of their contingency fund.
Yeah, the contingency fund should be paying back to our water reserve fund where the city borrowed $3 million to help them out.
Yeah, they have been starting to make payments, we found out recently.
Starting at a very low minimum, I thought.
Yeah, probably, but at least it's a start. I honestly, there were many that thought we may never see a dime of that.
Well, we should see it all because the bed tax paying for most of that.
Yeah, that's true. You know, what really gets me is that, you know, now we're going to have a second hotel, probably the same kind of arrangement.
It's true, and that is ridiculous. The taxpayers are on the hook. The county guarantees all this money.
Right.
Who's on the hook?
And what do you see up on Peachtree when Mr. Scott has to renovate Applebee's or one of those? You've seen that, you know.
They use their own money.
Right, he's been renovating a lot of his restaurants because of, you know, the corporation wants them spruced up, or, you know, I'm sure the hotels chains are the same way, you know.
And you know, you get Casey Wall saying this may be a project breaker for access to the people who are paying.
Project break, is that what he said?
That's what I thought he said. Because of delay, they wouldn't be able to break ground and get this moving.
No, they can break ground. I mean, you know, the way the resolution is read, nothing has to be done until about, I think it was a year or two after, at least a year after the project is completed.
Well, you know,
So that gives them plenty of time to plan, you know.
they look at that hotel they have now. They took all the way the base structure from the people, so they could have access coming in there with their boats. Now, what's the difference with this new hotel?
Yeah, it just, you know, I'm sick and tired of authorities bringing in last-minute things to council, because we're at the end of we're like at the last chain, you know what I'm talking about, John?
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, everybody else, they go through, they make the changes, and then they come up to us at the last minute, and we're supposed to okay it, rubber stamp it, and, you know.
That's true.
And then, you know.
Getting workers that are paying the EIT?
Pardon?
Are these authorities getting workers that are building their places pay the EIT?
That's a good question. I brought that up at the last meeting, and I plan on checking a little bit more now. You know, I want to see, like, usually when they did the convention center, they had an agreement that they were doing that. But there's so many cases where you drive around town and we get people coming in or doing work that aren't paying the EIT or the special pension levy that's above the EIT.
When I see a lot of out-of-state license plates.
Yep, and I think, you know, hey, what's fair is fair. If they're coming here doing work, I've said this all along, we charge our own kids who work in, let's say they go away to college, they work at
McDonald's.
Panera Bread, McDonald's, while they're in college. When they come home, they have to submit their income, right?
That's right.
And they have to pay the city income tax. I worked for an out-of-state firm who paid me when I worked in Erie, and I had to pay, okay, I had to pay local tax. You see it all the time, but yet I look at a lot of things, and I'm not picking on any of these entities, but you got baseball players, people who play in the Philharmonic, construction workers, people that come through the town and they don't pay their tax. Here's a good one. In some towns, they're even going after the entertainers and the ball clubs.
Well, they should.
I mean, they're saying, hey, you know what? You derive a portion of your income from our community, you know.
That's true. Now, let's get to another subject here real quick. I see that the mayor has appointed Tim Green now to be the city's redevelopment officer.
Oh, yeah, he couldn't appoint, I thought you were talking about Brenda.
No, it's Kim Green.
Yeah, so now we're, okay.
Area redevelopment.
Which makes me wonder, now we haven't named a director of the redevelopment yet, correct?
That's true.
Maybe, well, the public seems to think, there's a lot of rumors going around that
It was under a 5-year contract.
the city is, well, yeah, if that's a contract, well, usually, I haven't seen the contract.
Well, That's what I understand.
Yeah, well, if you're right, and there's a contract between, that contract probably exists between the authority and Ms. Green, okay?
Yes?
So that would be, you know, the city probably wouldn't see that. I'm not positive, but, you know, that would be between the authority and her. I would guess, knowing most people, they don't give up a 5-year contract.
They'll probably pay her off so much.
Well, you know, that's interesting. I don't know what the contract says,
That's true.
but most people aren't going to give up a 5-year contract easily.
No. But
And-
here's the thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's her problem there. But the whole thing here is, when she was the head of the redevelopment authority, look at the mess she got us into. We've got that Peach Street complex, we have Parade Street, we have the Mercantile. Are they paying their taxes? Yet the mayor thinks she's doing a wonderful job, and I don't think she is.
Well, what scares me about the authority, we haven't named a director yet.
No, they haven't.
Now, the ugly rumors are surfacing once again that the city is going to probably take him over.
Yeah, well, her assistant, I assume, is pulling in. And now I see that they're talking about this land banking. They hired a consultant for $13,000 to come up with it, where you go on the internet, you can read it all. You know, these properties have to have something done to them, but the fine print is after they got them all and refurbished them or whatever, they have to give so much money to the state. I don't know if you ever looked at that program.
Well, I know the land bank, and they're primarily interested.
In getting properties back on the tax roll.
Yeah, but they're going to, a lot of people have become involved in this project, you know, the developers.
Yes.
They will love to cherry pick the best ones first.
True.
And, you know, our problem is we got a lot of non-cherry picking ones out there.
Yes, there is.
And I just get real afraid that I've watched the redevelopment authority from the early days, and it's always been interesting how it was run. You know what I'm talking about?
They wrecked Lower State Street.
Well, to me, it was redevelopment was an arm of the city that, you know, they can kill me for my comments. That's fine, but they wiped out a lot of downtown.
Sure did.
And we never really rebuilt downtown the way it should have been.
No.
We tore down an awful lot of buildings, some, you know, yeah, they were old, but, you know, some of them might have been able to be renovated.
That's true.
We will never know. I mean, a lot of the theaters, they were gone. The Strand, the Colonial, the Columbia, you know, name all the big buildings we tore down over the years.
Yes, it is. It's a shame.
Yeah, and now we got all these projects where we can't even get private developers to really get them moving. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing when you got that building on Peach Street.
You got the building on Peach Street. You have the one on Parade Street.
Mm-hmm. They say that's filled, but I
don't see anybody over there.
I don't either. But I mean, I'm not saying they're wrong, but I don't see it.
Well, it's going to wind up to be a Section 8, that Peach Street, or Peach Street and Parade Street. Mark my words. Now, I have another quick thing.
Yeah.
I was going down Green Garden today, and by God, they patched their roads, they paved it. Yet Liberty Street's been standing for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
East side here's been the same thing. Is there a difference between east and west in the city?
I got good news for you.
I'm listening.
I saw them doing part of Parade Street today.
Really?
Yeah, and they were also doing part of East 18th Street.
Yes.
So apparently I think that news article on TV got them shook up a little bit.
Well, it should. I mean, my God.
Well, I'm amazed that, you know, this is, I don't know who to blame, but this is wrong. Let me tell you something.
You got the city crews, they're working their heart out.
Yeah, they do. You know what? They get it done, but you know what? When we have these projects.
You got McCormick and Mayer brothers, they're dragging their feet.
Hey, John, you know, I don't care what team you like. Let me ask you a wild question. Okay?
Go ahead.
If these roads were tore up around, name it, Cleveland Stadium, PNC Park in Pittsburgh, what do you think would happen?
There'd be an outrage.
You think they'd be fixed in about 2 minutes?
Well, I'll tell you what. what, if they were going to do that, it would be a 24-hour deal. They would do it until they were done.
How about Liberty Avenue in Pittsburgh? You think they'd put up with that?
No, they wouldn't.
Boulevard of the Allies, Carnegie Street in Cleveland?
No, they wouldn't.
I don't know why we put up with this crap. I mean, you've been driving around town.
Well, you know, the whole thing here, the mayor's on the talk show with the Korsak and Steinhagen.
Yeah.
And he's saying the delay is because of the ADA ramps, that they have to get them in properly to do this.
Well, you know what? This is coordination, and if that's the problem, and I do know that's an issue, so I know they're not making that up. But where is the timing? I mean,
I don't know. That one contractor came through and did all 38th Street.
Why? Yeah, he was doing them quick, right?
All the way to State Street.
He did them quick, remember?
Yeah, I think it was Valhalla or whatever.
I think you're right.
There was no delay there.
No, I mean, if they know, okay, they obviously knew they were paving these roads. And they obviously know, they have the list of the what do you call it, the ADA, the ADA ramps they got to do. And also, I've been told, and this is true, that when you do a major road construction, that triggers those intersections automatically. So even though they have a list of what they call, they have a 4 or 5 year list they had of all these things that were going to be done in order, a triggering event pushes them to the top.
It's true.
And so I'm saying, why did it take, they started early in the summer, right?
Yes.
And then you have all these festivals that close down the street. And Erie Insurance has been on 7th Street, seems like for a year and a half with that project. Traffic has been delayed. You got all these, West 29th Street was rough for a period of time. That one I think was getting paved too, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, Davidson and all these, so all these streets have been like that, and then they haven't even been striped yet.
You can have to bite off more than you can chew.
And the Commonwealth hasn't even striped their streets yet, along East 38th.
And I'll tell you that striping, I see them, I go away from them because that paint isn't wet and it's spraying all the undercarriages and the whole shop.
Well, I was going around Mercier today. It was a real mess on East 38th.
Yes.
Looks like somebody spilled some paint there, but
Yep.
but really, when you start looking at the roads, you're going, now, it doesn't take all summer to do them. I've watched them in the past. It used to be they milled them, they covered them with the first coat,
And finished it.
then they gave the first coat like maybe a half a week to set or something.
Yeah.
But, the roads were done rather quickly.
It's true.
They did a lot of them in series. I mean, maybe, there was always progress on different sections, but...
So one more quick thing and I'll get off.
Yeah.
How do we find out about the people putting their garbage out a week ahead of time?
I went by there today and took another set of pictures, and I submitted a last set and brought it up to the Public Works Assistant Director.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go up there right after the show and give them the new pictures. I saw the garbage up there.
Yeah, and that was out there yesterday.
Yeah, they may have an agreement with the city, but I want to see it. If they have an agreement,
Put
fine.
it out a week ahead of time?
Well, that shouldn't be, no. What's the pickup up on your side?
Thursday.
Same as mine then, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's obviously, we're Monday. That's not good.
At most, it shouldn't be more than 24 hours.
Right. I mean, I've seen people on trips, like neighbors leave them out a couple days early.
Yeah, that's true.
Or ask their neighbors to put it out for them,
If I would take it out for him.
But yeah, leaving it out Monday, I don't know, it's probably like the college kids. They dump whatever they want out there.
That's true. So, well, I'll get off and let somebody else get in.
Hey, I'm gonna mention about the trees when you're off the air too. Hey, you want to come up? Well, I don't have a guest, but we have an audience member. We'll just have him sit up here so he's not bored. But John called in last week about some trees along East 38th Street that are terribly rotted.
Okay.
Along the boulevard. And so just to tell John and everybody else that we brought it up to the attention of our Sarah Galloway, our arborist, and this I can verify. There's not a lot of funds in there for taking trees down. She has it on a list. As funds become available, the trees will be taken down. They're in terrible shape, but we do not have a large budget We have some money for emergency takedown and a little bit of money for systematic takedown of damaged trees. So, yeah, just for those people that called in, that's kind of what's happening with that.
Okay, I talked to the senator this morning. Senator this morning. Toomey. I asked him, how come there's so many people coming into Erie? And then Stahagen just cut me off. I wasn't done. The school area, how many pupils are coming into Erie? One of the school board members told me, here's kids coming in the class, can't even speak English, and they're there. They don't know what to do with them.
Well, I heard there was a figure, there was a guy on TV. He was I don't think he's with the International Institute. He was with one of the other outfits, maybe the Hispanic American Council. I don't think they call it that no more. I think it's called Intercultural Center, or
right.
It's got a different name, but to more signify, their mission. Multicultural Center.
Right.
That must be it. And I thought I heard him say that there was going to be upwards of 700 more or some.
700 children coming into
Not
Erie.
children, that'd be families, but a lot of them be children. But those are being brought in under the, and the senators should have been able to answer this, because they're being brought in, a lot of them are being brought in under the refugee status.
Right.
We're not letting in, from what I understand, when a few years ago when I was in Poland, when we were exploring the runway in Germany, the Poles were very upset that their citizens couldn't come here easily.
Well,
and here they were backing us at the time in Afghanistan with troops. They were one of our NATO allies. And I remember the then Congressman Phil English was very instrumental in passing a rule that said certain countries that don't have refugee status anymore, they eased up the restrictions so that they could come here for work or come here to become citizens, especially when they were helping the United States and other issues.
yeah, but they're coming in legally.
Legally.
Right. And
Yeah.
now you got Mexican border.
Hold your thought. Go ahead, caller. Hello?
Who is kidding whom? Who is kidding whom that nobody can take care of those trees on East 38th Street?
No, I didn't say that. I said we're going to take them down, but I can show you the budget. If you don't believe me, I'll show you the budget for tree removal. A lot of the contracts have already been signed. When I was controller, I signed those contracts, and I knew ahead of time which trees were going to be taken down. It's a simple issue. Come down here. I'll be glad to take you up to the controller's office. We'll get a hold of the records. We'll show you that these trees are going to be taken down. They're on a list. We do not have a lot of funds for trees, just like same thing like we don't have a lot of funds for taking down houses.
I'll tell you why.
We have emergency funding.
I'll tell you why. Are you holding on?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Hey, when Mayor Senate took on, he raised the taxes, 14%? And he took 23 police officers off, so many fire persons off, cut all the other facilities off. So we have an upstanding now, creditability. So what? Who can walk down a city street there without being afraid? Can you answer that question?
No, I can't. But I'll say this, if any of those trees that you talk about are deemed hazardous, then one way or the other, they'll find the money to take them down. It'll have to come out of somewhere.
Oh, are you still there?
Yes, I'm listening.
Hold on. I'm just wondering here, when the mayor came on, we got this updated credit. Isn't that fantastic? Do you think that's fantastic?
What's that?
The upgrade we got on there, we can borrow more money. We can borrow more money.
If we want to, but the point was that our status as far as the bonding companies were concerned, according to Moody's, who grades municipalities and businesses, we have removed some of our debt problems slightly.
Isn't that fantastic?
Well, in a way, yes, it is, because you don't want the city in debt. Long-term debt is not healthy. Your kids, my grandchildren, your grandchildren are going to pay for that. And the sooner we get out of debt, the better it is.
But,
I will say this, the last 7 years, we have had realistic budgets with realistic expenses. And we didn't always come under budget, but we were damn close every time. So we have made progress. That's something I can't say happened the first 4 years.
I want to say this, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember when Mayor Senate first came into office, okay?
Right.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, this situation on State Street from 26th Street to his group. He was going to take care of from 26th Street to the Bayfront, and that's what he's been taking care of ever since. He makes sure they all can pay cash for their new Cadillacs every year. See?
Well, I don't exactly agree with what's happening on State Street, but...
half the bars are shut down. Nuisance bars.
But a lot of the public seems to like what's going on, and I don't agree with it, but hey...
Will you let me say something again?
Yeah, you're allowed to talk. You got the podium.
He never said it again. and I know there's going to people who realize that, and that's what he is taking care of in the city of Erie, from 26th Street to the Bayfront, Friend Street to Peach Street, and people on the east side of Erie are being slapped in the face because he never got his tire plant. Now, is that the truth or not? What do you think?
Well, there's a lot more than just the east side suffering. I mean, if you take the east side, you take lower west side, you go to Little Italy section.
Well, they're starting to pump money into that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when the nuns are, to their credit, are going to start coming to the east side.
Right.
We've pumped some money into Parade Street, but the bottom line is, if you drive around the city, okay, you can't be happy what you're seeing, okay?
No.
All these nice projects are great. I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't do them.
Who's paying for all these?
What?
Now, you just you're talking about $53 million bond issue to build those houses on 13th and Peach, am I right?
Oh, you mean 13th and Peach?
13th and Peach, those condos, they ain't selling. How many is in there? How many buildings do you guys sell? One, I think.
Redevelopment's running that, yes.
Right, but you're going to get, your city's going to have to borrow $53 million to put more of them in there. Why should the city take care of it?
No, it's supposed to, I hope that isn't the case, because...
That's the case I'm hearing.
Well, they got to, if it's up to council, I won't vote for it without, I want to see a building, I want to see a business plan. I want to see something that tells me...
Oh, I cut me off.
Go ahead, no, you're here.
Go on, we're listening.
No, do you remember that when Mayor Senate first got elected? He had this group. He said that he has this 26 businesses from 26th and State Street all the way down to the Bayfront. Mm-hmm. And that's, from what I've seen, that's what he has protected.
A lot of them are going under, too.
He never said it again. What's that?
We got to have some lights put up there.
A lot of them are going under, actually. We're losing a lot of those bars slowly.
Yeah, but there's no lights. If you go from 12th Street to the underpass, there's no lights. Last time I saw it.
No lights.
No, hardly any. You can hardly see it at night.
Oh, they had to put more lights in
I'm talking about the lights.
Yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, you go.
He's talking about the businesses.
I know well, you look from the underpass to the Manicure Club. There's nothing there.
You know what I'm talking about. What the heck? When was the last time you went to a function and you paid for your own ticket? I'm gonna hang up.
Who, me? Oh, man.
Don't look at me. I don't go to these functions.
He thinks I get freebies?
Oh, yeah, that's what he said. Okay, we're getting that. Let's get back to that Davison.
Wait a minute, I gotta tell you, I can't have people thinking I get a freebie.
No, people know you know better than that.
We don't get no freebies. We gotta pay for everything.
Okay.
Go ahead, caller.
So the area that gentleman was talking about, they are the lowest tax generating revenues in the city.
You talking about the bar town?
So I'm talking from 26th Street down to the Bayfront.
On State Street?
Anywhere along there. From, let's say, from Parade Street to Peach Street.
Yeah, Parade Street's needs
Over to Liberty Street.
Parade Street needs a little kick down there in the lower part.
There is, if you check their taxes as opposed to the taxes of people in Southeast Erie, as far as what they're paying, and as far as school tax, county tax, and city tax, those areas are way down. I heard a guy yelling that he paid $400 for school tax.
You think we're paying more up where we are, don't you?
We're paying more on the east side, southeast, than southwest.
That's going to disappear though, because I told you what I found out. We're getting, we got a boarding house at the bottom of my hill, more rentals coming.
So it's going to drop your property.
Did you look at I was looking at the back sheet of that realty guide. I was amazed at the number of properties up for sale on our side of town.
That's true. Everybody wants to get out of here.
And I mean, I'm talking about primarily up around the 38th Street corridor.
Right.
Plus or minus 5 blocks either way.
Up to the border, up to Grandview.
Yeah, from there down to like maybe 34th, 35th,
That's true.
And these are,
Decent homes, nice homes.
well, they're going fast.
Right.
Everybody wants to move to Summit, Wesleyville, Harbor Creek.
It's sad, but
And you were talking about the bond rating.
Yeah.
This went from an A- to an A+.
well, I mean, here that's good news. I mean, that's not saying we have to borrow.
That's true.
But
But I also heard that as far as I think the federal government and with the municipal bonds, there's going to be a problem with that. They're not going to be paying they won't be tax-free.
What they're talking about making them non-tax-free?
That's true.
That will make them tough to be sold. That's one of the biggest investment vehicles that people buy in the country.
Right, but I understand that is coming. So, but other than that, that gentleman next to you, he looks like an old guy I used to work with, some good old Russian fellow of mine.
Is that true?
That's true.
Where's that at?
Penelec.
No. You mean another good-looking guy running around beside me?
He's away, but he looks just like you. His name was Red McKeaton.
Who's that? Who's the guys they're hiring to snip the copper, John? What's that going on?
I have no idea. But it's great to see that. He reminds me so much of, I almost figure he came back as reincarnation.
He calls me every week, and I says, you know what? Why don't you come on the show then? Like I told you to come on, John.
He
Hey,
looks
John.
a little bit like Pete Rose, too.
Boy, good-looking guy.
He doesn't have the money, or he can't hit the
I got the
curveball.
money, I ain't got the
He can't hit the curveball though.
No, let's do to this water department. That's my biggest. You had this CEO of the water department on, and he's saying we didn't sell enough water because this summer no one sprinkled. Now we're going to have to jack up the water bill.
Well, you know what the biggest problem with the water was?
Damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Well-
Just think we could bottle water like they do in Buffalo if we didn't have that poison in it.
That's right.
I never liked that. That fluoride is not good for people like my wife either.
Why doesn't anybody say anything about it? And get
They
that
did,
out?
but you seen what happened? They under the previous mayor, not Joe.
If he
Right.
told the water authority to put it in.
Remember when he got rid of some of the board members to make sure it happened?
Right.
Yep.
I can name a couple that, nay votes that suddenly,
But if you notice your bill, you gotta.
50% goes almost to your sewer. It's almost 50-50.
Okay, GE, I think, is the only one that has a meter. If I'm not right.
what, an affluent meter?
Meter water going out.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, when you get your bill, what you use going in, they charge you for the same amount going out.
Right. That was a decision they made, a previous council many years ago.
And GE has that going out, so they save a ton of money.
Well, yeah,
Now,
they-
we're route trade out there northeast.
You
How
could-
many gallons do you think they use a day? And they gotta pay the same amount going out,
They talked about,
putting meters.
yeah, they did. It's costly though.
It's A.
Because I think you have to put, I'm not sure, I've never done one, but I think you have to put them in probably under the concrete.
Or you'd have to break into the ground, put a meter on
I
it.
think, I'm not sure how they work, you know.
Or they could put it inside, the water going out.
Maybe, I don't know how
But
they do it.
anyway, I'm getting at, if you get your bill, like I just got mine, $92. Only two of us living there.
Wait a minute, 92?
Yep, $92. And I look on it, they charge you for the bill. They charge you $17.50.
$17.45.
$17.45.
On the sewer.
And the sewer, and 17. They're making one bill and they're charging you double, and then let's say $35 for a bill just to make it out. These guys, that guy's a thief, that guy in the water department, and he wants to raise the water authority. There's people just barely making.
They got hurt when Hammermill and, who was it, John? Hammermill and, we lost a lot of industries, GE too.
Well, you know, the whole thing here, the service charge is ridiculous because it's just, they're duplicating everything.
Right.
How much you pay water, John?
My water bill I just paid was $115.
How many people you have in your home?
There's only 3 in the home.
And how can they justify that much
Is
money?
that your total bill, John?
Well, that's sewer and water.
And that's yours is 92?
Like 45% of the water bill. And you know damn well we're not flushing 45% down the sewer.
That was the decision council made. They at the time, I remember, they were talking about meters and others, percentage, and that's what they
Well, they
decided.
found out if the homeowner wants to put a meter in and they charge it that way, they will get butchered in the sewer department and the water department. They won't be able to double dip.
Well, like most things, if, you know,
One more quick thing and then I'll get off the air. Find out how much the city council budget is for the year.
oh, I could tell you that when I get home.
Because I think,
You should be able to look it up on the internet, John.
I'll take a look, but as we have an archivist there, we should be able to hire another employee. Have a great day.
Actually, I think you can look it right up on the internet.
Right.
And
But this water authority is way out of hand. The guy put 42 million in Summerheim, and we need that like a hole in it. And I talked to guys that worked there for years. It's the biggest joke there is. They still ain't running it right.
It's no secret.
Oh, we
though,
want to
that
hear a bigger, better.
when the factories moved out, they lost a lot of revenue.
That's it. Yeah, but they're making it up on hookups and stuff like that. People have homes.
Yeah.
Okay, they have wells and everything. They smashed the wells, they hooked the line, they charged them to
One
put
of
it
the
in.
biggest arguments too was always the contract we have with the suburbs. You know, is it like it should be?
I'll tell you, in Mill Creek, did they jump from their authority to the Erie Water Department, or are they staying where they're at?
I think. I think they're still got the. I'm trying to remember. I think they still have the dual system.
Well, I don't know what, because they were trying to sell it, or
Well, they were-
they were trying to buy it.
Well, first thing they were trying to do was hook the second one to the first one,
Right.
and then they were thinking of joining the water authority,
That'd be the worst thing they ever did.
but I think they backed out.
Like I said, this town's going to heck, and
But see, a lot of people feel like we didn't cut a good deal with the suburbs, such as Mill Creek, that they should be paying.
They should be paying as much as we are.
A lot of people feel like it should be paying more because A, we got to pump the water uphill, and B, it's our system. Our people started it. So I mean, other towns do it. Other towns do it that way. We unfortunately have an agreement, which, from what I understand, it's not going to be broken for a long time.
I tell you, this water department has got me teed off. Got a whole lake out there, and they're charging you a fortune for water.
Oh, it's the old. When we were young, they had a flat rate.
Right, and you use all the water you want, and everybody was happy. Now,
Well, what they did was, though, your rates. Your taxes were going to get raised as a proportionate. Mm-hmm. And I don't disagree that meters are a little fairer. But it's what you charge per unit of water that determines that,
like I said, he wants to raise it, and there's people.
You should pay less, if you don't have a swimming pool, and you don't wash your car, you don't hose down your driveway, okay, you should pay less, than the person that does.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the rate they charge you. It's just like, that's at, what is it? the dollars per unit of water, the cubic feet.
Cubic feet. Now, there's a friend of mine, you know who he is. This year, he filled the pool in, it was an in-ground pool, 8 foot deep. He went down to city, county courthouse, said, hey, I took the pool out. What am I entitled to? According to what I understand, if you got an in-ground pool, it's 25% of your taxes, okay?
It is?
That used to be like that. I don't know what it is. You know what they told them? The taxes stay the same.
Well, I think you fight that if you can prove that,
It's an in-ground pool. You've been paying for 30 years in-ground pool taxes.
I think if you can prove that,
How can you prove it?
well,
The thing's full of water. It's all
wait a
full.
minute. You go to your tax before you had the pool,
Right.
okay? You hire an expert. There are people that, it's gonna cost you a couple of bucks.
Why should it cost you anything?
Yeah, but I mean, if they're telling you one thing and you don't agree with them, okay, then you have to hire a guy like this, Mr. McGooey, who deals in that type of deal, okay? He'll go through the records and he'll say, okay, here's what you paid before you had the pool. Here's what you paid when you had the pool.
But couldn't he go down to City Hall and look on the records, how much he was paying the last, let's say...
Well, the courthouse has all those records.
Yeah, all the records are right there. And they said it didn't go down a bit? Come on, this guy's been paying 25%.
Well, no, I mean, if you think that, well, it's just like GE, okay? When GE got rid of a lot of factories,
Right.
right? What did they do? They went down for a reassessment,
Assessment.
okay? And since they didn't have existing property, then it was taxed as the land.
Right, land tax.
Okay, so it should be if you can prove, and I don't know if this is the case, but if you're right, and you had a swimming pool in there, okay?
Right.
And you say, okay, before I had the swimming pool, here's my assessed value.
Instead of 1,000, you're paying 20, you say 20...
Now, you have to prove that because, you could add, you could add reassessment in that time frame. So you gotta say, and they tell you on your bill, how much is property,
Wait,
how much is land, okay? So you say, okay, if here I was paying this much, then I put in a pool and it goes up this much. And it stays that much for, a period of time. Maybe it goes up a little bit, maybe it goes down a little bit, but the assessed value, is
within $300-400.
right. So then all of a sudden you take the pool out, okay? If you ask for a reassessment, it should go down.
Right.
But if it doesn't, then you have to fight them. So, I mean, I'm saying, yeah, it's not fair you have to fight them,
You know what it is.
but they tell you a lot of times when you do a reassessment,
You might get banged.
these people had to go and hire people like Mr. McGooey to look over their records, and say, this is wrong, you're charging them wrong. And they're because you and I are not in the field.
Right.
But people that do that for a living can say, oh, wait a minute, they were charging you, okay? And yes, this property isn't worth that much,
Right.
okay? It should come down. Sometimes a lot of people feel like an in-ground pool is actually a detriment to selling the house too. I've heard people say they don't want a pool.
Well,
Above ground pool, you can tear down and get it out of there.
new tenants are doing that next door. They don't want it, they're pulling it.
But a lot of people, I remember when I was in the private sector, and we did offer, the company I worked for offered pool packages. A lot of people, they got frozen when they found out they had to dig a hole, put a permanent structure in, because now, sometimes that actually hurts your sale. You may get somebody who doesn't want a pool. They want the backyard, now you got a big hole there.
But above ground, that's easy to take down. You just take it down, get some topsoil.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I don't understand, it'd be interesting to talk with, you'd have to be in the business to know whether that does that or not, yeah, you could ask the county, but if you think you're getting a runaround, then you probably have to take them to court, You have to go to the appeals board and say, hey, you know what, you taxed me this amount when, so I want, it's gotta be reduced now.
I would say just go down there and ask them. If they don't, just say.
But I find hard to believe that they would increase your taxes with a pool, though.
An in-ground, it's permanent structure. Okay, we got somebody here.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz, I forgot to ask you one thing.
Yeah,
Remember the people who owe the back garbage and water bills?
yeah.
How's that coming?
It's coming along good. In fact, we're thinking, we're in the final stages of probably, I'm not sure if we'll get in this final quarter. If not, it'll be ready to go by the beginning of the year, I think. It's going to progress rather quickly now. We've done a lot of the research, and the big thing was getting the computer systems to coordinate and set up the new billing system the way we wanted it. And I know there was a letter to the editors saying that, they were picking on John Rand for his contribution. And they said, well, if that's all you're going, that's not all we're going after. In fact, we didn't even go after John Rand. John Rand brought it up.
How much would his bill be?
Oh, God.
I'd have to,
Ball game figure.
I have to break it out. I don't have those numbers.
Just about figure.
I couldn't even give you one. It'd be
a fortune.
But what he promised was his Section 8. See, I think if I remember right, he picks up garbage his own in his property. But
yeah, Waste Management does it.
Right, but he has Section 8 housing around the city.
Right.
Those are the properties that, put the garbage out. So what he said to us was, when he read our predicament, he said that he would make, because the question came up in council about Section 8 properties. And I think when he probably got wind of that, he took proactive measures to say, okay, that since you're doing that, we'll back you up, and, they will have to pay. Mm-hmm. And so, but the newspaper article made it look like we're only picking on landlords, we're only picking on Section 8. No, that's not the case. When this goes into effect, everybody's going to get it. We now will have the ability we didn't have it before, but we can terminate your water and your sewer. Well, you can terminate your water and sewer for not paying this. That's the big thing.
That's the new one coming out
Yeah,
this year.
because that's going to make it, you can't sit there anymore. Are you still there, Lloyd?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to sit there and flaunt anymore and say, I'm not paying, put a lien on my property. If it gets to a certain level, we will have the ability to shut off the water. I mean, we didn't have that before.
But how much figure, in a total figure, you think you're going to get back in the back?
On the back money?
On the back money.
I don't.
Well, you were in upstairs. You know an idea what it would be.
Well, it's hard to. I mean, we're making progress now, but I think once the shutoffs come, okay, then I think you're going to see really a.
Yeah, I'll get out and let somebody else call in.
Okay, Lloyd. I mean, they're going to have to either make arrangements, okay, in which case we'll get a little bit at a time. Will we get all of it? No, that's not going to probably happen. There'll be people to go.
If you got 25%.
I think we want more than that. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Dad.
Yes.
Dad.
Yeah, we're here. Turn your TV down.
I ain't even got a TV.
Oh, you don't? What's that in the background?
I don't know, probably 38th Street. I'm working.
Oh, that's what it is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're having trouble hearing us, I think, but go
I
ahead.
can hear you, bro. Hey, is DJ with you?
No, he taking a little hiatus for a few days.
Who's with you?
Mr. Ronnie Stemka, he just like you. He calls me up all the time.
Oh, okay.
Like I told you, if you want to come down, feel free,
Okay, well, listen, I just wanted to give a big shout-out to Mark, man. I've been down there to that 9/11, that memorial.
Right.
It's really nice, man.
Yeah, he did a nice job. I remember people asked me, is that the original piece of steel, or did they just give him one? I'm going, come on now,
That's original.
Mark, I remember the day Mark drove out there, and he came back in,
Semi, yeah.
with, what was that, not was it Berkmeyer?
Berkmeyer, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Berkmeyer, I got to hand it to him. He took that project on himself.
Right. And you know what's really good? You don't see nothing there of him trying to pat himself on the back either. You know what I mean?
No, he's a straight shooter. He's a good guy, and I wish he could have stayed on city council.
Well, if the paper hadn't done a job on him with the
The paper had done a number on him.
yeah, with the snow removal, that
Right. But I mean, if that had been certain other people, they would have made sure there was a plaque there saying that they were involved in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can tell you this. When we did the Korean War project, I made sure that everybody that had a part in that was mentioned.
Right.
And that's what Mark does. He's very careful about, he puts his committee there and all that.
Like I said, he puts his heart into the city. Like I said, I wish he would have made city council because the guy put his heart into the city.
Well, he can run again. We need to get rid of a couple of them jokers who voted in that little cushy job there. You know, the clerk is a good man, and he did a great job. But I'm glad to see Kaz voted against that. You know, that's kind of ridiculous giving that man that job.
Well, you want to hear a good one? That one on the Port Authority, he retires October 1st, am I right?
He's a consultant.
Wait, he's a consultant for a year and a half. I want to see how much money he gets a month, because there was so much noise about the guy that took care of city council. What was his name?
Jimmy Clem.
Jimmy Clem. The guy was a very smart guy, and hey, for $1,000 a month with the knowledge that man has and the years he's been here since Tulio's day, this guy knows a lot. $1,000 a month is nothing for city council. But I want to know how much he makes.
Who?
Down there at the Port Authority.
Well, I don't have to disclose that. That'll be...
Yeah, I mean, monthly, a year and a half. That's a lot of money. He gets his pension, Social Security, then he got this other scam going on the side.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have to disagree with that. I think that that kid who took the job for the clerk, who is the clerk of Erie County, city clerk, I think he could, you know, do the job. I mean, $1,000 does not sound like a lot of money. No, it doesn't. You know, but when them guys don't give any money to, you know, there's lots of other things. $12,000 a year for 2 years, that's $25 grand, you figure. That's money that could have went somewhere else. You know, and I know the man's done a hell of a good job since he's been here. I've only been in Erie 7 years, and I know he's done a great job just in the time that I've been here.
Well, I mean, I
just think if you're going to retire, it's time to retire. There shouldn't be this little... You know, but they voted for it, and hey, more power to him. I wish it was another 12 grand in my pocket every year.
I've watched council turn down a lot of people for funds over the years.
Well, like I said, I was glad to see you vote against that, Kaz. You did vote against that, right?
Yes, I did. I just didn't feel comfortable with it. And hey, you know, I look at it when I was controller. My predecessor, she taught me, and then she walked off in the sunset. You know.
Right.
And
hey, Kaz, I also want to, like I said, the reason I asked if DJ was there, I wanted to say once again how great a job Cat TV did again this year. Roar on the Shore, Celebrate Erie, and all them functions. Them guys are there, you know, and they do one hell of a job.
Yeah, they're having to charge people now. Like even the city didn't pay, but the nonprofit entity that runs Celebrate Erie had to pay Cat TV to do it because, you know, we cut their legs out.
Yeah, somebody's got to pay for it. I mean, that's not a small production. You know, you can't just have that done for nothing.
I don't think people realize that. I was surprised. I do a radio show on Sunday, volunteer, and they have this hour-long church service on there. And it's amazing. You'd be amazed how many people listen to these volunteer shows or the church or something like that, you know, the Italian hour, the Polish. And then when you got Cat TV and you have all these religious people on there having their services, and I don't think a lot of people realize that there are shut-ins that can't come down to Celebrate Erie.
Yes, you're getting ready to go off the air, ain't you?
Yeah, pretty soon.
Okay, well listen, man, I gotta complain about something. You know that.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be you, right?
Huh?
I said it wouldn't be you if you didn't, right?
Right. Well, listen, I got to put a little complaint in here, man.
Go ahead.
And I know there's a reason for it, but I'd just like to know what the reason is. Why is the city tearing up streets all over town, leaving the sewer lines and all that exposed? I mean, there has to be an answer. I know there's probably a reason for it, but I'm just trying to find out why. And then they paint these lines on it and stuff.
Yeah.
You would think that it'd be more or less costly to just finish the road while you have all the equipment on one street instead of going to somewhere else, ripping it up, putting a layer of blacktop on, and then coming back and doing all the streets. Do you know why they do it like that?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I think this year we've had the roads tore up the longest. Usually the roads were done within a month or something, you know. Right. They tore them up, they put one coat down. It seemed like some of these roads have been tore up all summer.
Well, what it is they're on more of them like that, like they're not finishing any. The roads that they started doing at the beginning of the summer, they've never went back and finished them.
You're right, and I think that we bit up too much more than we can chew. Then they blamed it on the ADA, what do you call it, the ramps? But here's the thing,
And I understand that. I can see.
But you knew that.
It doesn't make sense. Half the people come and do the ramps before you tear the road up. They're doing that on 18th Street right now. They're doing the ramps now. That should have been done.
As John said, we had a guy on East 38th Street that went down one end of the street to the other looked like from, God, it was from, I think it was almost the whole length of 38th. I know it's at least from Pine Avenue to Zimmerman, I think.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably the reason right there. But I mean, you would think that would just be scheduling.
Well, yeah,
you schedule to have them ramps and that put in before you rip the roads up. I know they can't do the blacktop because what happens, and we found out last year, all these intersections flood.
Yeah, it was the worst time, and I'm telling you, I still say that if this was Pittsburgh, and they had the damn football game start, and you can, or Cleveland, you can bet those roads wouldn't be tore up like that.
Right, you're right. Well, you know what? I was down in Meadville, but that's why I didn't want to get too bad on the city because I was down in Meadville working. They're doing the exact same thing. They got roads tore up all over the place, but what they don't understand is that tears the shit out of your cars.
Well, yeah, and then they don't have the road striped properly on these state highways. They haven't done theirs yet.
But anyhow, I don't know, man. I ain't called for like 2 months, so I've been trying. I tried calling all day today, and I kept getting hung up.
Yeah, we'll have to have you come up here someday.
Yeah, why you keep hanging up on me?
I didn't hang up on you.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
Phone never rang.
The only ones that do that is the guys on 1400, like Stayhagen. If you don't like your attitudes, click goes the phone.
Hey, remember this, you get 1 hour of talk on here, no commercials, no sports scores. I won't tell you how good the Browns did. I won't bring that up or any of that, but hey, you have a good time. We'll see you next week, okay?
Take care.
All right, thank you, Cash.
Hey, we gotta
take care too, sir. Even though I don't know who you are.
Well, you'll find out.
All right, buddy. Well, you take care of yourself.
Hey, take care.
And with that, we have to leave the air.
You know what I was talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.